and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 136 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. So we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, and this is what we have today for you, we have physical vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. So in these episodes, we cover everything to do with the gym, workouts, nutrition, diets, workout and fitness programs like 75 Hard, supplements, Untapped Training, which if you guys have any questions or curiosities about Untapped Training, about what we offer, what we can do for you, please reach out, okay? And then sometimes we will also take trending articles or topics within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Guys, these physical vitality episodes, especially one like tonight where we're going to go through a few movements with you guys, these are full of free game. So if you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced lifter, pay attention to these episodes. We give out a ton of free tips, a ton of free info that is all very beneficial to you guys. So make sure you pay attention, take notes if you need to, listen back if you need to. But bottom line, pay attention and you will take something from these episodes.
So good to be back, brother.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Excited for this one today. Guys, our third format is our breaking news format. That is a current event-based format. Now, keep in mind, you hear the word current events, we could do 3 to 4 episodes of these a week, especially since we are in the United States of America. A lot's going on. Naturally, we're not going to talk about every single piece of it. Not every episode is going to be about it because we're not looking to doom and gloom and just sit on how bad of shape the world is in, so to speak. Now, we're going to bring you current events, articles going on in those episodes. We're also just going to, in general, inject our opinions into that. It is speculation on our show, right?
Yeah.
As
all conspiracy theory.
All conspiracy theory, supposedly, anyways. But anyways, guys, that's your breaking news format. The fourth format is our Knights Table format. That is a masculinity-based format. That is when we talk about things like toxic masculinity, if it's real, if it's just made up to hate on men, fatherhood, the impact it's had on our lives and how big of a deal it is to us whenever we get to that point. And then also just men and male topics in general and how important they are to the world, different things that we can, kind of restore the opinion of men, so to speak, in this country especially. Now, guys, onto our fifth format. That is when we sit down with a guest. So our guest format is very straightforward, obviously. That is when we sit down with an entrepreneur, fitness professional, athlete, doctor, somebody with a great story. Could literally be anybody who brings you a lot of value in those episodes. We're going to learn a lot. You're also going to learn a lot from those episodes. Very exciting. I did forget to mention as well the Jesus Christ part, but the only perfect man ever to exist is Jesus Christ. I just want to throw that in there, of course, because I can't forget that
Probably
part.
The most important
part of the intro, 100%.
Nice going, dude. Nice.
Yeah, just failure on my part. Jesus hates me now.
No.
Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. But, guys, our last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother. Back for the first time in I don't know how many weeks, but,
Guys act like I'm dead when I miss an episode.
I love being dramatic.
He's healthy. He's healthy.
He's not sick anymore, boys.
COVID almost got me, but I made it out.
It's a good thing that you're vaccinated.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yep. Old Roni. Hey.
What are you on, like your 3rd booster now? Is that right? Or 4th? Although your neighbors, they might have enough.
I thought they were like 7th or 8th at this point.
I actually just eat the shot. Like I don't even have them sticking in my arm. I just
put the liquid into your
mix
mouth.
it in with your creatine in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good idea. Good idea.
Probably more effective that way.
Yeah, probably. Probably defeats the purpose of the creatine though.
On a completely unrelated note, my heart's been hurting a lot lately. It's really weird. I don't know if there's any correlation to.
Is he about to say something?
Something stupid about to come out of his
mouth.
Well,
I'm just saying to those shots. I don't know if there's any correlation between my heart hurting or.
God, wow, we missed that one. Big
time. You guys were just some absolute
failure
bricks
to launch
Sorry,
there.
Mitch. Sorry, Mitch. Our bad. Oh my gosh.
Oh man,
that's our bad for sure on that one. Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Let's teach the people how to get a chest.
Just get a chest.
Get a chest. Where can you buy one?
You actually, unless you lift, you don't have a chest.
Correct.
That's how this works.
Yes.
What I heard is by the end of this episode, your chest will look like the Crimson Chin's chin.
Yep.
Yes.
Right? So
exactly.
how it protrudes, your chest will protrude like that.
Yes.
Yep. Your chest will hit the door.
Larry the Lobster.
Yeah,
in
6 feet.
SpongeBob
Yeah,
SquarePants.
6 feet before
Just
you touch it.
Massive pecs.
Yep. That's what I heard, at least. Oh. Maybe some
No,
blasphemy.
you heard correctly.
Yeah.
You heard correctly.
Lo and behold, that's exactly our plan today, to teach you guys.
Oh man, we are struggling off the rip.
Yeah,
here.
can you tell we've been off a little bit? Gosh.
I know. I feel like a lot has happened in the last couple weeks.
100%.
I got a new job starting here, which is wild. Playoff baseball is on. Hockey is back.
Hockey is so back.
It's officially fall time outside, which is awesome.
I think next week it's supposed to be like 60s here finally, right?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
none of the 90s garbage we had in our vlog, by the way,
Correct.
ladies and gentlemen.
Go watch that if you haven't. Cinematic ruck tips.
It'll be the video before this one you're watching
Correct.
right now on the YouTube.
Correct.
So, yeah,
And then we got a golf outing with 2 former untapped guests,
huge.
which is very exciting.
Won't release the names, of course, until it happens.
I totally wasn't about to say it was. Yeah.
I knew I was about to like check. I was like checking you there a little bit, just in case,
Yes.
of course.
Yes. And we are actually PGA level golfers now.
Mhm.
That's how much we've
Especially
been
me.
golfing here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my handicap is crazy, bro. Dude, I'm so ass. I'm so bad, dude.
They actually had to create a reverse handicap for me.
Shit.
So instead of a 0, I actually, whenever I go on a golf course, they automatically add strokes, right? I
Nice.
know, yeah.
Nice.
So
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
just so there's a little bit
Yeah,
of
they
competition.
make the par 95.
Well, yeah. The problem is when you shoot 18 on 18 every time, it gets a little boring. You know?
Yeah. Hole in one. on
Yeah,
hole in
it
two.
gets yeah. When you shoot 18 on 18, it gets old really quick. So
Like, man, we got to do something. This
Yeah.
guy's embarrassing our course. It's supposed to be a hard course to play.
It's Payne's Valley. It's $400 a round. Like, what the world?
Can you imagine us right now paying $400 for a round of golf?
Oh yeah, definitely I could at that place.
Can?
At that place, 100%. I'd take out a mortgage to go play at that place. Oh my lord, dude.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, no mortgages. Just chest development. today.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Top 3, in our opinion, top 3 movements for chest development.
Yeah.
Number 1, definitely my favorite. Like, without a doubt, these are my favorite. Cable fly variations. You've obviously done a few different videos on Instagram about them. And there's many different ways to do flies in general, whether it's cable or dumbbell. You could even hold 2 barbells. That's what I do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think Larry Wheels did a video like that once.
No,
too,
that was
for
me.
Sure.
That was
Oh,
me
it was you.
in my Larry Wheels Halloween costume.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
yeah.
it. Okay, I thought maybe you were black now, but yeah. Yeah.
No, I'll put 135, on the barbells, and then I'll lay down and I'll actually do the flies with the bars.
Because
Yeah.
most gyms don't have the 135-pound dumbbells, so
Correct. I mean, House of Pain does go up to 200-pound dumbbells.
yeah. But it looks cooler with the barbells.
It does. Yeah. I mean, it's for the
Objectively.
content. You know what I mean?
Objectively,
The only time I run into issues is like sometimes the plates will touch at the top of the movement here. They bump into each other. That's the only noise.
Of course. No doubt. Yeah, we're all real concerns for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Honestly, dude, cable flies are great.
Yes.
Obviously, caveat 2 to all 3 of these movements we're about to announce. Obviously, there's many chest movements and really good ones as well. These are just 3 that we really believe, like, if you do them, you're definitely going to get really good chest development.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yes.
Like, for sure. So, in cable flies, because you can talk about cable flies in the way of, elevated, basically middle or intermediate, whatever you want to call it, of height on the cable machines, or low cable flies.
Yeah.
Like low, middle, high is the easiest way to describe those cable
sure.
flies a lot of times.
Yeah.
Each one of them is going to give you a different benefit for sure. A lot of the times the downside about the low cable flies, if it's at the bottom, the downside of that one can be avoiding bicep involvement.
Yep.
It really can be. So that's a one you have to really practice before you actually start really putting weight on that movement. Because as you know, you and I, like, the weight is not crazy on those movements
No,
at all.
it doesn't
'Cause
need to
It's really
be.
about the actual contraction of the movement.
Yes.
More than anything else.
Feeling the movement. I don't know, at least for me, there are some machines, and we'll get to that a little bit later here, but there are some machines where I really feel my chest just like ripping apart, like in a good way, obviously.
Yeah, in a growth way. Yeah.
But nothing compares to flies.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, my favorite flies to do are the low ones you're talking about, the low to the high here. But even I'll catch myself if I'm either one, getting tired, or two, too heavy. I will notice it's like, okay, I'm feeling this in my biceps, so that means I'm somewhat activating them by kind of curling the handle or whatever it might be. And it's like, okay, I either need to, maybe I rushed my rest in between sets, or I just need to lower the weight a little bit. And that's okay. You can still get a phenomenal contraction, a phenomenal pump from any of the flies, but specifically the low ones I'm talking about now. But man, I love the low ones. It's probably where I get the best movement. Now, I don't use the low ones to warm up. I prefer going high to low or high to more mid-range, because I don't know how you feel about it, but it always cracks me up when you've got the people like standing in the cable and they're going like straight down.
Yeah.
And that's useful.
There definitely can be use for sure.
For me, it's not overly useful, like in my mind, like for me personally, that's all. And it's just like sometimes the people that are doing those just like look ridiculous.
Yeah. You can if you do those right, though, you can load those up
For sure.
more than you can
You're
the other
pushed
movements.
straight down.
Yeah, genuinely.
Yes,
So
yes.
naturally, you'll get more motor unit recruitment from that.
Right.
Which is a lot of what you're talking about with cable flies in general when it comes to the low ones too, is that you're like, a lot of times that we think of the pump or blood being injected into the area directly at that point in time. And,
Right.
And I also want to say when it comes to that bicep point too, is there's always limiting factors for each movement. There's always limiting factors. There's also always going to be secondary movers in it. There's going to be your primary movers, which are the chest in all of these situations with the cable flies. There can be the secondary or tertiary movers of the biceps when it comes into low cable flies. So are you going to entirely avoid bicep involvement? No, of course you're not. But there's not at least not that I can think of, there's not a single movement that at least doesn't involve other secondary and tertiary movers.
Right.
No matter if you're on a machine or if you're using dumbbells or if you're using landmine, it doesn't even matter. Whatever it is. So that's one little caveat I want to get out of the way too, because you'll get the crowd of obviously there's bicep involvement. It's like, yes, we know that. We're well aware of that fact. We are talking about the primary mover, which is the chest in the scenario.
Right.
But you're right. Cable flies are great at that because it's an isolation type of movement is what we're talking about here. And it really allows you to get into the dedicated or designated area you're looking for, which is the chest in this case, because there can even be the when you're doing like cable stuff with your back, for example, that is really good as well, because you can, again, isolate in quotations that area more than you might be able to sometimes with a dumbbell.
Right.
And that's why the cable flies are great for warm-ups too, because they send a bunch of blood into that area.
And it's
as
quick.
It is. Oh, it's quick.
It's like one set and it's like, damn, I'm feeling good already.
Especially if you pick the right weight.
Yes.
Especially if you pick the right weight.
Nice and slow.
Which is also why you should track your weights.
Bingo.
Thing right there.
Bingo on the Untapped training app.
On the Untapped training app, correct. Because we do have a dedicated app for
Fully custom app.
Yep, correct. But yeah, cable fly. In general, I just love cable flies too. The thing is, there's kind of that what do you call it, a discussion around cable flies where they're like, oh, like high to low, it's better for this because like it might hit like a quarter up your chest this way. And it's like becomes really
nitpicky,
real quick. And honestly, unless you're having a conversation with other trainers and other strength coaches, it's not really a necessary conversation. Because and honestly, Kyle Dobbs, which is a friend of Brock's, Brock Wilson's, both of them talk a lot about this, where it's like you start talking about these complex subjects and start talking about all this stuff. Clients they'll start confusing themselves about that stuff every single time because there's so much nuance to each type of the topic. So my point is like, if you like high to low, great. If you like mid-range, great. If you like the low cable flies, do them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like
exactly.
And again, that's another thing you tell if you guys have a trainer as well. In our case, we've had clients every single time tell us, hey, I really like doing these movements. Guess what? We put it in their program.
100%.
It's going to keep them more consistent whenever they're doing the program.
Or vice versa too.
Exactly.
Now, if there are movements you don't like to do, it better just not be, because it's hard.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to be doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you feel like you're in danger, or you feel like you're going to get hurt, or maybe you've had a past experience where something like that's happened, okay, that's more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But because a hex bar deadlift is hard or something like that, that's not a realistic
Correct
concern.
And again, we tweak that as it goes too when it comes to our scenario, and so does every other good trainer.
Yes,
when it comes to that as well, because we did that with Jake early on when we were doing literally trial runs with him as one of our clients, where he was having shoulder issues at a certain angle of the shoulder press. So all we had to do was slightly tweak it just a little bit, and then all of a sudden he was good.
And he kept telling us, like, my shoulders never felt better on dumbbell bench. Like, literally, he kept saying that over and over again.
Which is awesome to hear.
Awesome to hear. Yeah, right.
It's simple stuff like that for sure.
Right.
But again, like, there's little tweaks that come along with it. But especially if you're a beginner lifter listening to this, don't start diving down the rabbit hole of high to low compared to low cable flies or something like that. It's just it's not a productive rabbit hole unless you're really doing it for a career like we are in a lot of ways, or if you're trying to do bodybuilding show, that type of stuff, like really dedicated stuff toward it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to our second movement here that we really, this one might be my favorite on the list as well. It's the incline bench press.
Yeah.
Now this could be dumbbell or barbell. I have seen some people do this in the cable machine. Like if you stack a bench in there. So I've seen that way too. Again, the only problem there could be load. Sure. And it could be just angle measure. Because again, setup time is going to come into play on that one as well.
That's actually something we didn't mention with the cable flies too. You can use a bench in the middle of the
Correct. You absolutely can. Yeah, if you want to do a seated mid-range one or a seated high to low, that'd be kind of weird if you did that. But
yeah, I feel like you could really only do mid-range.
Probably mid-range. Yeah. And that's great.
Yeah.
Because you're able to sit and you're able to take out the fact of your legs being involved in it too.
Right.
But anyways, on to the incline bench. We'll probably stick with the dumbbell and the barbell in this scenario. Dumbbell, phenomenal. A lot of the times whenever I use it in my own programming it's like a second accessory, like after the compound movement, a lot of times it'll be a second accessory. Now, if it's the full barbell, that can really supplement for a compound movement.
Absolutely.
Because again, barbells, as we've talked about in past episodes, they recruit so many muscles when it comes to that, to be involved in the movement that, you're naturally going to get very fatigued from it compared to the dumbbell bench press and whatnot, which again, the beauty of the dumbbell bench press is that you have to have a little bit of skillfulness and athleticism to handle an incline bench press with dumbbells too, because of the fact that it's mixing that point between the military press and a regular dumbbell bench press. So you have to really have the ability to get the dumbbells up to you're actually like your starting position.
Point.
Right. And then you have to be able to control the descent every time too, because if you're just trying to do a bunch of weight on that, that's not going to happen.
No.
And if you're doing barbell, have a spotter if you can. If not, just be really, really safe with the weight whenever you do that one as well.
Because if you don't have a spotter on the barbell incline, it's very hard to just like drop the weight. Because obviously when you're doing traditional bench with a bar on a flat bench, you can set the safety racks up to where, okay, if I can't get this, or if this bar slips out of my hands, like it's not going to crush me. With the incline, it's way more difficult to do that. You might get stuck right here below your neck, and then what are you going to do? Let it roll down your body?
And you can.
And you can do that if needed, like let it go.
That's last option.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are some gyms that do have benches where you can still put the safety bars up. And again, if you don't have a spotter, like do that. Like operate with safety here and caution, as you should with any movement for that matter, make sure it's something you can control.
Absolutely.
Number one.
Yeah.
I think for me, if I'm doing incline, I definitely prefer the dumbbells. I just get a better contraction for it. I get a better feel for it. I feel like I am more productive with dumbbells just in general. I very rarely barbell bench. There are times where I just start to get that itch and it's like, like I'm going to do this. And that's fine. But I 100% prefer dumbbells over barbell bench. Personally, I don't have anything against the barbell. It's just for me, that's what works best, whether it's traditional or a full incline.
I have an in-person client who has the same issue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same thing. It's like we stick with dumbbells if we do that.
Yeah.
Or we just stick with barbell and or flat bench press and then decline if needed too. So it's that's the thing. You should never force yourself. If barbell feels like shit, obviously don't force yourself into doing barbell. I mean, because that's not going to be a fun scenario for anybody, including yourself. And again, there's always ways if you really want to dive in. You're like, I really want to find out a way where barbell incline is comfortable for me. There's ways you can go about that. Probably a trainer is the best option for that because you're going to have to get pretty specific in seeing, maybe if we do this extra warm up, maybe that actually allows the body to get, settled in, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they can do the barbell incline and it feels really comfortable and they enjoy doing it. Great. But like Wurtz is saying, guys, I mean, if dumbbells work great for you, stick with them.
Yeah.
Because the beauty about incline is that compared to flat, obviously a lot of your shoulders, a lot of your triceps are getting involved. Your chest is still, for the most part, the main mover there. But with incline, the primary mover is for sure your chest.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And again, the difference with incline compared to the cables is that you can load it even more, which is why it's so important, because if you really want to start with a heavy compound, obviously barbell, or if you're going heavy enough, you're good enough at dumbbells, start with the dumbbell incline because that's a great way to lead yourself into a chest workout. And then even you can complement it by doing cable flies, like we talked about at the end of a workout, even if you want to burn out at the end, which is
a great burnout.
Which is torture.
It is.
It's horrible, but it's awesome at the same time. So that's where incline comes into play, and keeping it simple, it's a really solid movement for both dumbbell and barbell.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, third and final one here, guys, are chest machine variations. Okay, so kind of same as the flies that we talked about. There's so many different variations of chest press machines, especially if you go to a gym like the Fit Cities, House of Pain be another one. Not your more traditional one. Your Club Fitnesses, which don't go to Club Fitness, but your Edge, places like Iron Hive, which is like an Anytime Fitness kind of.
Crunch Fitness is actually opening up. Did you see that?
Oh no.
So I meant to send you guys a screenshot of that, but there's a Crunch Fitness, which is a similar to Edge style, but
kind of like Planet Fitness.
It's actually it's even a little bit more advanced, I think, than Edge from what I've seen in pictures.
Oh wow. Okay.
In pictures. So I haven't actually been to one, of course, but there's actually one opening up in St. Louis, 3 different locations. They're also around the country for you guys listening that are not in Missouri.
Wow.
There's a bunch of them around the country.
Yeah.
So that's another good option as
Very
well.
cool.
Heard good things about them.
Yeah. But your non-chain gyms are going to have a lot of different variations, especially the places like House of Pain and Fit City here in St. Louis. Project Power is another one out there in O'Fallon, Missouri. They've got some different variations as well. Sick Gym also, by the way.
Disgusting.
Bart has done a tremendous job with
Bart's
that out
also
there.
just the man, too.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yes. So with what I have found with the different chest press machines, there are some for me where it does absolutely nothing for my chest, or I don't get that feel from it. And it's more shoulders or triceps than anything, and that could always be some user error, because there's times where maybe you're thinking more shoulders or triceps, and it's amazing what you can do during a movement. If you're thinking about the wrong muscles, you will quickly find that you are using those muscles and recruiting those muscles more than what you should be.
Because you're prioritizing them in your own mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The mind is really weird that way, but it's
100%.
pretty cool.
I was going to say, it's also kind of cool, you know? But for example, like House of Pain has a couple that aren't necessarily independent to House of Pain, but they have one where it's a little bit more of an incline. It's 2 independent handles that are plate loaded, the specific one that I'm talking about, and everything is adjustable, whether it's the seat, the handle heights, things like that. But you can either hold the handles like this. For those of you on video, it's more of a neutral grip. It's like an L shape. Okay, the handles are like an L shape. So you can go neutral grip on this part of the handles. If you wanted to, you can even hold it in the corner, which at times I've actually done that. Or if you wanted to go more of a like a vertical grip, or that's not the what am I looking?
Technically,
I guess that's more
technically
neutral
that
grip.
would be more neutral, and the,
This
and the
would be
other
more
one would be
traditional.
like if you thought of like a pronated or traditional grip. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah,
more
that's
along
a good
those lines.
way.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, with machines, it's like the grips are going to change that way. Like,
Yeah, correct.
It's not exactly neutral
Correct.
and pronated, of course, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But I absolutely love this type of machine. A plate loaded. I don't know why, but I prefer a plate loaded machine than a cable loaded. There are plenty of good cable
I'm with you.
or weight
entirely
stack
on that.
loaded. Like plenty of good ones that are cable or weight stack loaded. There's no doubt. Just like a cable machine would be. That's what a weight stack is. But I definitely prefer the plate loaded. It also just kind of like feels cooler, you know?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know. There's just something about like putting the weight on instead of just moving a pin down.
absolutely.
You know?
Plate loaded is a big time mental thing.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Because when you get to that next full plate, that next 45, it's a big accomplishment. You know, if you go down another pin to make it heavier, it just doesn't feel as like accomplishing.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, this type of machine, again, it's not like a full incline. I wouldn't say it's a little bit less. But man, it is just such a good contraction from it. Such a good one. This particular machine, I've only seen it at House of Pain, but I know there's other ones that exist. The other one that I really enjoy using that House of Pain has, it's more of a like sideways U handle. Okay. This is a plate loaded one, but the plates go like at the bottom is where the weight is actually held.
I remember seeing this one. Yep.
It's a straight up and down seat. This one is a Panetta. Panetta makes sick equipment.
Panetta is unreal.
Awesome
Italian company.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of Project Power, that's all they have.
Oh yeah. Like custom green.
Maserati leather too. That's what Panetta uses.
Yuck.
Which is sweet.
So yuck.
Anyway, this is like a sideways U handle, okay? And the bottom of the U is on the inside, okay? And then the pegs go out. So you can hold it up top, again with that pronated grip. You can hold it vertically or neutral, okay? Or you can hold it pronated on the bottom as well. And all three have their pros and cons to them. What I particularly like to do is go with the neutral grip towards the top of the sideways U, okay? So kind of in the corner of the top part of the part of the handle that's going out and where the vertical meets. I kind of like to hold it in there, and then you're right in here, like right outside your chest, kind of armpit level, and you're pressing straight out. And I mean, again, just a fantastic piece of equipment right there. Just an excellent contraction to it. You've actually used this machine with me in the past because they had it at the old House of Pain as well. I was so happy.
I used to go there too. Yeah.
Yeah, so happy that was a piece of equipment they brought with them. And it's just the way the machine moves. It's a very natural feeling movement, which is also something I look for in machines. Is does this feel natural, or if not, it almost feels like there's an injury risk. There isn't always, because machines are typically very safe, which is why they exist. But just a very, very good piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Love that one.
Definitely, all things considered with machines, it's like their injury risk is so much lower when it comes to, like even the dumbbells, or less so the cables. Cables are very similar to machines in that way, where they're extremely safe. And as we've talked about in the past too, if you're an athlete playing a sport, it's always going to be more risk than it will be strength training or anything like that. There's,
sure.
Of course, always a risk that we should be mentioning to clients and mentioning to people as well. But yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about machines too is really the fact of you're adding in the aspect of stability is the easiest part of it. You're not, and I don't mean you're balancing on one leg. I mean like stability, that you're able to sit down and take every other factor out except for the dedicated muscles you're trying to hit. That's the biggest reason why, if we're talking chest development, that it's an incredible movement for that.
Yes.
Different variations of that machine press. So I think that's a really key one. And honestly, I don't know if we've talked about this in other episodes before, but athletes can even benefit from that type of stuff, because it's thought of machine press or thought of as bodybuilding or just, trying to get big pecs or whatever, like the Arnold type style or
Which
whatever.
it is.
And yeah,
There's no doubt.
100%.
Yeah,
It's
that
going to be one of the better
isolation.
ones for bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah.
But athletes can absolutely benefit from pure hypertrophy work. Like there's no doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, realistically, like all three of these could be you could do these 3 in a chest workout, and
You should be,
it
honestly.
would be like that. If this is all 3 you did, it'd be
money.
It'd be game over.
Absolutely.
And you look like Bumstead,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
In one day. No, but like real talk, that's a great point. Like if you had a chest and arms day and these were your 3 chest movements, and then let's just say you do 2 bicep and 2 tricep movements, it's a money workout right there.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
100%.
Because you're able. The thing is about it too is like there's that whole conversation about volume compared to intensity or whatever and all that good stuff. But the interesting thing about it is if you did these 3 realistically, you could make them extremely intense, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
Because you could progress just these 3 again, and it's enough of that intensity and the actual stimulus needed for the workout that it would cover all the bases.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's going to fully develop your chest. You're not putting a sole focus on the top shelf, as people like to say, where you're focusing more on the upper part of the muscle.
Sure.
You're not just focusing on the lower part of the muscle. Like you're going to fully develop your pec muscles too by doing these 3, like without a doubt. And like we mentioned with the cable flies and the machines, with all the different variations, it's going to allow you to do that, to fully develop, which is awesome. It doesn't have to be super complicated. We know it really well because this is what we do, that people on their own very easily can complicate working out. And it doesn't have to be that way. If you want to complicate it, it can certainly be complicated and very intricate. And, in a way, we mentioned golf earlier. Golf can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be. You still got to put the ball in the hole. Okay? Doesn't really matter how you get there. If you want to grow your chest, it can be extremely intricate, or it can be as basic as doing 3 movements. You're going to get there the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
as is seen by a lot of pro bodybuilders for that matter too.
100%.
A lot of those guys, it's a very simple formula.
Yeah.
There are some coaches for sure that have their bodybuilding athletes doing more of the intricate style and whatnot for sure, and those guys still get good development. But you also notice the guys who do simple stuff too also get really good development.
Look at Big Will Bates,
Yep.
Go to his Instagram.
His workouts are about as simple as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's awesome at them too.
And he's gigantic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's extremely strong. He looks great when he steps on stage, and he's not doing crazy types of workouts.
Yep.
He's just extremely consistent, and he puts up a lot of weight.
Just glazing Will right
Oh,
now. Sorry.
He's a homie, man.
I had to.
Dude's awesome. Current first form athlete, too.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Filthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glaze of Thrones.
And Mitch has entered the conversation.
Man, the boys are 15. Aren't we? I don't think we're in the 20s, boys. Using all the Gen Z terms, or is it Gen Alpha or whatever.
He's a first form athlete. I didn't know.
He is
that.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Well, if you would ever show up to the podcast for a recording now, you would know that.
I live here.
We said that a couple weeks ago.
Wait,
Mitch.
in the last month, right? Was Will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a relatively
Good
new
for
thing,
him.
but yeah, no, finally he is officially first one.
That is a deserving person.
Oh,
through and
without a
through.
doubt, dude. I mean, without a doubt. We were both so hyped when we finally saw that news, and 100% earned. I mean, without a doubt.
Oh,
without a doubt.
Oh my.
But no, keep it simple. Keep it simple. It's the biggest thing. And I don't know, Mitch, you got anything to add to the movement discussion there?
Maybe from the question.
Okay.
I think I'll spark another piece of it.
So that's the
On
main
that?
portion here.
Yeah.
So at the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that's submitted by you guys, the viewers or the listeners. Couple different ways here, more than a couple, few different ways we want you guys to submit these questions to us. Number one, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually or text them to us if you have our numbers. You can email them to us. Our email is extricationfitness@gmail.com. So it's our OG name with Extrication Fitness. It's a mouthful, I know. There's an email button in our Instagram bio, and it is also in our Facebook bio. You can also leave them in the comments of our Instagram posts. Throughout each week, we post a number of different clips from that week's podcast episode, or you can leave them in the comments on our YouTube video. So all of these podcast episodes are on YouTube along with our vlogs. Again, we have a brand new vlog out, Cinematic Ruck Tips. If you're brand new to rucking, you want to get into rucking, or you've been rucking for a long time, just like we have, you will benefit from this. with some very cool nature shots and whatnot. Got the drone out for that. Very, very cool video. I think it's 13 minutes, give or take.
13 minutes, yep.
13 minutes, so not crazy long.
Yep. Just like that last YouTube exclusive, 14 minutes on that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a
You
good
wanna
point.
jump
We have
back into that
another YouTube exclusive out as well, number 7.
7.
Where we talk about men should be men. So also another good thing to check out on YouTube. But you can leave your Q&A questions in the comments of any of our YouTube videos as well. All the questions get sent over to Money Mitch here, and then he picks one out that is either on topic with the episode. Sometimes it's just a random question that you guys have, or there are times where Money Mitch will come up with a good, smart, or funny question. And right now he is using his microphone as a telescope.
As an eyeglass, yeah.
So, Money Mitch,
Portable telescope.
what you got?
How much weight, how much importance should you give to the mind-muscle connection? It could be specific to chest. Maybe mind-muscle connection matters more with chest movements. Maybe it matters more with legs. I don't know. How much importance or weight should you give to that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually.
There
good
should
question.
there should definitely be an aspect of that being important.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, there's definitely should be an aspect of there being important. As for how much weight you should give it, I wouldn't make it the main focus of your training. That's what I will say.
Does every movement need to be, I can feel every fiber? Does it need to be one of those
Right.
where
That's a great point. Not necessarily, especially for you athletes. Like not every time are you gonna on a landmine clean the press or something like that. You're not gonna feel a mind to muscle connection
or a
on that
pump
movement
or something like that. Yeah,
something insane like
now
that.
you're gonna feel sick and you're gonna feel explosive on that.
100%.
At least you should be.
Yeah. I don't know any bodybuilding movements that you won't feel a mind muscle connection.
Great point. Right
Now,
there.
granted, I will say the barbell incline press, you might not feel as much of a mind muscle because you're just worried about getting the damn weight off your chest.
Yeah.
More than anything
No,
else.
100%.
So that's an aspect. Because again, the thing is, if you go entirely off of mind muscle connection and you don't track your weight or have any idea how you're progressing, you're not going to progress.
Yeah.
You're going to be entirely worried about just injecting blood into your muscles, which you're already doing no matter the workout.
Right.
Because that's the thing, because I don't want to downplay the importance, but I don't want to make the importance too big on the mind muscle connection. Because I think a lot of coaches, for a while, the fitness industry was full of just like the pump, the mind muscle connection and whatnot. And it's like, that's not a measurable factor you can take into account. It's like, this one workout, my mind muscle connection was 80% compared to in this workout was 95%. It's like, that's not possible to measure.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing is like measurables are probably your most important factor when it comes to that.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
And like you said, most of the time your bodybuilding movements, because there's so much isolation involved in those types of movements, that's where you're going to feel more of that mind muscle connection that's, being asked about here. That's where you're going to feel more of a pump or things like that. Now, just something to add on, because I definitely agree with you. It's something to keep in mind, but it's definitely not something to solely base your workouts off of. But what I will say is, especially when you get into your more accessory type movements, the ones you choose to do week in and week out, because as we've said a million times, but maybe this is your first episode listening, so maybe you haven't heard us say this, but you should be doing the same movements over and over and over again week to week, whether it's an 8-week span, a 10-week, a 12-week, a 16-week span, whatever. But you can't just do different movements every single week because you're bored or something like that. Like you're not going to see progress that way. It's just not how it works. But the way you base what accessories you're going to do, that I think is where more the mind muscle connection comes to play, because like I mentioned, for me, with the different fly variations and the different machine variations we were talking about, that is what I use to base. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to feel this movement. I know I'm going to feel that I'm doing it correctly. And I know that it's going to be productive for me. So I'm going to consistently do this chest machine or that chest machine or this variation of flies. But it doesn't mean I don't do the other variations of flies or start doing a different machine after that 8, 10, 12, 16-week span, whatever it is, So, yes, it matters. Yes, keep it in mind. But do not solely base your workouts on if you feel it or not, or if you feel a pump from it. Because maybe that day you don't get a crazy pump from doing traditional bicep curls with dumbbells. You're still hammering your biceps. It's okay.
100%.
You know,
1,000%.
there's times where maybe you don't feel the pump because maybe it's kind of cold in the gym that day.
Or maybe it's just a shitty workout that day.
Or maybe your energy is low.
honestly.
Or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you're a little sick, under the weather, whatever. You might not feel like Gigantor walking out of the gym. That's okay. You still did productive work for your biceps, for your chest, for your quads, hammies, whatever it is.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing is like, because if you said it perfect. It's like if you want to base it off of like the mind muscle connections with your accessories, and that's really what gets you the most into training, you're also hypothetically going to get the best results because you're going to put the most intensity and effort into that too.
you're going to get excited about it.
Exactly. So that's important as well. Now, if you're 8 to 12 weeks into the program and whatnot, and you're not really seeing any improvements at all in the weight you're using, or any improvements at all in maybe physique development, depending on how early on you are, of course. At our point, it's like very small incremental changes, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just how it is. And it's kind of fun process that way. But
super fun.
yeah, super dope. Yeah. I'm
been a week
definitely
and
not fed up about it. Yeah.
It's been a week and I haven't seen a change. Yeah.
I haven't seen my arms get bigger in a week. I'm not gonna make it.
Training arms sucks because it takes forever
it's
to
ass.
grow, especially the biceps.
It's ass.
Like I feel like the triceps I can grow quicker than biceps.
You've always been more tricep dominant though.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I got some mean triceps.
because I feel like I'm more bicep dominant whenever I do that stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, these guys like to speak. There's no doubt. But the guys on the inside here do not. So, okay, screw you guys.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know,
Sweet.
curls get the girls.
Yeah.
I guess that isn't true.
That's like I said on your post, okay? It's not curls for the girls, it's buys for the guys.
Yeah. He's a homo.
Mitch, what is your favorite chest movement?
Sorry, I
What
was
do you
shaking
got?
my head at that. Ooh, that's a good question. I like dips.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a wow.
That's
a
one that
really good
people
one.
don't think about for your chest
Underrated.
very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get destroyed on dips.
Yeah.
Like I'm like half drunk by the time I'm done. It's like I'm like,
hammered.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
it's
maybe
also
the
because we need to work on your triceps.
maybe the Hennessy I had before the gym didn't help, but
you taking a tip from your coworker there.
yep. No, yeah, chest dips rip me up, and I don't even necessarily because one thing I feel like about dips too is you can also make them more tricep heavy,
Oh yeah.
kind of depending
that's
on the
what I use
angle
them
you
for
approach it.
personally.
Yeah,
The chest is just kind of a byproduct.
Yep.
For me. Again, that's kind of for me. Now,
It depends on the angle of it too.
for sure.
That's the biggest key there.
If you lean forward a little bit, that's when you're going to start.
I feel like dips supersetted too. Oh, you're in trouble then.
Oh,
You get like 3 dips and you're
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's almost like push-ups in that way too. You know, if you're supersetting push-ups, any variation, whether it's plyo push-ups where you're coming off the ground, normal push-ups, military, whatever, decline, doesn't matter. But if you superset that with like a chest press, dumbbell, traditional barbell, like you get like 7 push-ups, and you're like, man, I'm a bitch.
Yeah, oh yeah. You're like, wow, I would never get through Hell Week at SEAL training. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Those dudes have done 250 push-ups before they've even woken up.
Yeah.
Who's gonna carry the logs? Not me.
Yeah, it's barely
Not me.
it's not your boy. The boats aren't getting carried.
We're sinking, man. We're sinking.
The boat's taking on water. I'll tell you that right now.
Hell Week's just too hard, dude. They really should make it easier.
I agree.
They need to make it
Yeah.
more inclusive.
It
You know, we
they
need to
should
get
bring diversity, equity,
yeah,
inclusion into Hell
absolutely. Yes,
Week.
DEI needs to be brought into the Navy SEALs.
Actually, the less effective our special forces are, the better.
The better,
my opinion.
obviously.
Yeah.
Look at the Secret Service right now. You know,
Oh,
they're so ineffective.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
great.
did you
They're-
see the big old Navy boat in New Zealand that ran aground?
wait, what?
They just missed the water part.
No,
that they're supposed to stay. in.
It was the captain was a DEI hire and she ran the boat on
She, of course, is.
she ran the boat on land.
ladies, come on. The stereotype of women drivers, you guys fill it every time. Come on.
I mean, it was pretty. It was
Well,
just-
guys,
just
it was
funny.
good having the Untapped podcast. Okay, we turned 3 this month and we just got canceled. So there you
Did
go.
we really? It was 3. Oh,
3
wow.
years this month, man. I don't know
Is
the
it-
exact
wait.
date.
I thought it was November. Either way, doesn't matter. Yeah,
It's close.
I'd have to check the first episode for sure. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't have it just in
Yeah,
your
that
mind?
that one I usually I should have it on deck, but I don't.
But anywho, back on track.
Yes,
Yeah.
chest.
The chest, the dips, that's the mind muscle thing there too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like especially with like supersets or like the giant sets, you get a ton of mind muscle, and it could still be a compound movement. The first
absolutely.
movement could be a
Especially
compound
if you weight
movement.
them too. If you use a weighted belt
Yeah.
with them and add weight that way, 100%.
Well, I'm saying like one compound lift and then an accessory lift, and you put them in sequence together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
they're literally our boy Brock Wilson decided to, a few weeks ago, program me cable flies. Well, it was machine flies. I didn't have access to a machine fly, but so I did cable middle flies and dips together.
Nice.
And he expected me to get 12 reps on both. That didn't go so well. And yeah,
I got 2.
yeah, I think literally the first set, I think I got 12 on the flies and then 8 on the dips.
Yeah.
That was the first set.
Which that's still impressive.
So
though.
I think I got 4 or maybe 3 on the last set. I mean, it was horrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's dips. This is the thing. That's why I caveated the 3 movements. It's like, okay, like obviously there's other really good movements involved in this.
even like
100%.
straight up just push-ups.
100%.
Like that's why it's one of the movements.
Yep.
The classic movements right there. The OG push-ups.
Yep.
Sit-ups, pull-ups. Like it's okay if you stick to those.
Your key is just resistance.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yep.
If resistance and progressing that resistance
Right.
is really just the key.
Lunges, that's another one.
100%.
If you're doing bodyweight lunges and you need a way to progress it, carry a person.
Or literally, you could technically, by all technicalities, you could. Not my first piece of equipment.
Hold a full lawn bag on your shoulders. I'm just giving people ideas here.
Full like a. You mean
Like a grass bag.
Oh,
Like I know it's goofy.
that's crazy.
Carry a rock. Like
Literally lunge up a hill.
lunge up a hill. Yeah.
Do
push-ups up a hill.
You can do bear crawls up a hill.
No.
That'd be a spew sesh.
No, we don't.
I'd be
We
puking
don't.
all
We
over
don't.
the. Yeah, it would be bad, bro.
Okay, anyway, all right. That is episode 136, guys. 3 best exercises for chest development. These are the only 3 movements you should ever do for your chest.
I knew you couldn't keep it together. I knew you couldn't keep it on track.
Guys, if you want more ideas like this, if you want programming like this, please get a hold of us for Untapped Training, okay? We will work with you, as we said earlier, the movements you like to do. We might push you to do some movements that you don't like to do. Again, we're not going to put you in a dangerous spot, but we will push you and we will challenge you as well. We will get you better and we will get you results. Yep. So, guys, get a hold of us for Untapped Training.
We're here. Okay? We're here to solve your problems.
Absolutely.
If you're having issues with your health and fitness, we're here to solve that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Without a doubt. Guys, as always, please share the show. Okay, share it to your Instagram stories. Take a picture. Take a screenshot of your screen if you like to watch on YouTube. Every little bit helps us grow and continue to get great guests. We have a awesome guest coming up here in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, something like that.
3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks.
As of now, we had a previous date, fell through. Thanks to Money Mitch over there. Just kidding. Kind of our fault, for being honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, really sick guest coming up here, guys, in a few weeks. So be on the lookout for that in the next few episodes. But the way we continue to get great guests on is by you guys helping us grow the show. So please continue doing that for us. And until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And bingo.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time. I'm